Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go ahead and look at the project that we're supposed to be doing. And it's a social justice math problem. And I'm not gonna read it. You can do that on your own time. I encourage you very strongly to do that. And especially, this is an excellent video. I think it helps really explain what we're doing. But I'm gonna work with you on the computations that help us understand how to compute how much inequality there's in a society. So what we've got here is perfect equality. So you've got to imagine the premise here is that the society has 24 billion dollars flowing around in the society, and actually everybody has the same amount. So then if I show you then this calculation over here, you'll see that everybody actually ends up having 240 million dollars. And so imagine every single person out of the 100 people have the same amount of assets that they're worth $240 million. Okay. So that's what perfect equality may look like. And so you have sometimes we talk about the bottom 20% and then the next 20%, those are quintiles, and the next 20%, but because everybody makes the same amount of money, there's really no way to divide them where you have the people that make the least money on the bottom and the people that make the most money on top. So basically what you're going to do is you're just going to divide everybody into groups of 20. So the first group of 20 has $4.8 billion, which is 24 billion divided by 5. And the next group also, they have 24 billion divided by 5. The next group has 24 billion divided by 5, and so on. Now, these are adding up because first you have the bottom 20%, then you have the bottom 40%. Well, you've got to add the 4.8 to the other 4.8 from the second group in order to get 9.6 billion. And then you're going to add 9.6 billion to 4.8 billion, which is the third group, and that gives you 14 billion. So the bottom 60% of the people have $14.4 billion, and you can come up with a percent. In this case, it turns out to be 60% because all the money is divided evenly. So it's 14.4 divided by 24. And so what you are going to do is look at these other fictitious countries and notice that here wealth is distributed less equally, and then over here you see the bottom 20% makes 0.5 billion, whereas the top 20% makes 13 billion. And so that's how we're completing these tables. Okay, so you'll fill the table out following a similar process. Hopefully my explanation made some sense to you. Let's go ahead and take this data and see if we can graph this on Excel. It's actually not as straightforward as we would like it to be, but I did investigate and it is doable. Let me make sure that I copy the right amount of data that I want to work with you on. I'm going to bring the titles over. I don't think they're important necessarily to the work we're doing. Okay, so the data's in there, and then you're accumulating percent. So the next one is going to be 40 because you've got to take the bottom and then the next group, which is 20. So 20 plus 20 is 40. Then the next group has accumulated 60% of the people. And over here, I'm gonna so the way we computed it is, remember the bottom 20% had $2.5 billion divided by the 24 total that this fictitious community had, and that's 0.104, which if we multiply by 100 is 10.4%. So I'm just gonna delete that and write 10.4 because I have to try to graph this. The same over here. If you take, so this is cumulative, that means you're adding the 2.5 and the 3.5, that gives you 6. And that's why we do 6 divided by 24 times 100, and that's 25. So let me change that. And then the next one, we could have the calculator do this computation for us. So it's going to be, so 6 plus 5 is 11. The 11 is right there, divided by 24. And then we can multiply by 100, and that moves the decimal over. So we've got 45.833%. We'll go ahead and leave it like that. What we do want to change, and this is going to be in order to help us graph, is I am going to move it turns out that you can make ranges of data in Excel. So this is going to be really handy. I was having a lot of trouble figuring out how to graph this as a histogram, and but trial and error, we figure things out. So hopefully you see that you actually do an interval, and that interval can just be like 40 to 60, 0 to 20. And what that's going to allow me to do is I'm going to graph this over here on this side, and I'm going to make a histogram. I'm going to insert a histogram. And I could do a periograph or a histogram. I'm not sure it matters a whole lot. And this is where things get a little bit tricky. And I have to remember which buttons I pressed earlier, because I believe you have to do a right hand and then you go to select data. And over here in series 2, we're gonna edit series 2, and it's kind of hidden. And so let me see if I can move it out of the way. Actually, let me cancel this just for a sec. Let me cancel it. I have to be able to see what I want to grab. And so I'm gonna go to select data, and it's this side that I want to edit, and I'm going to use those ranges, and uh, we're kind of on the right track because you see the 0 to 20. Let me make sure that I'm sharing with you. I'm going to press OK. Let me make sure that I'm sharing the Excel document with you. Perfect. And then I'm still going to remember where to click. That's a right hand click, and I believe it's format chart area. And let me take a quick pause just to make sure that I find the right thing and not wait. So what we're gonna do is we're going to have to go in here and just type in 10.4. We don't want any equations. The 25, type it in. The 46, type it in. And it's not gonna be a histogram. It's gonna be one of these bar graphs, or 2D column, I should say. Okay. And I'm going to just move it to the side. So now I'm going to double click on this value here. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the data, and I'm going to edit, because what I want are these things that operate as range. And now it's giving me what I need. I believe I can even add data labels to all of them. And that's what I need to do. And the last thing that I'm going to try to do is add a trend line. Now the trend line actually goes through the center. The one in the explanation goes through the corner. It hardly matters. What's crucial, let me see if I can change one more thing that you are kind of able to visualize. Is this, and you're going to compute the area of this bottom, and let me make sure I'm sharing my Excel. You're going to compute the area of the bottom, which is 20 times 10.4. So 20 times 10.4 is 20.8. The width of this is also 20, and the height is 25. So 20 times 25 And let me make sure I did the first one correctly. Let's use a calculator. So 20 times 10.4. 20 times 10.4. So that's the area of that very first rectangle. And then they're all going to be 20s times, and the next value is 25. Okay. Then I might as well do the last one, which is 20 times 46. 20 times 46. So you're gonna do all of those and you're gonna add them. 208 plus 500 plus 920. Okay. You're gonna do the same with perfect, and of course I'm missing two more rectangles. You're gonna do the same thing with perfect equality. And we're almost done with this explanation. Hopefully, um, it helps. You're gonna do the same thing with perfect equality, and then you're gonna take, you're gonna subtract, which is gonna be the pink. You're gonna subtract the sum. Now yours are gonna look like rectangles. These are not. You're gonna subtract them. The answer you get from perfect equality and the answer you get from society, fictitious society, I guess number 2. And then you're gonna divide those by the sum of these numbers. So it is quite involved, and you'll get a value that'll tell you how much the Gini coefficient is. Then you're gonna work with perfect equality and with country B, and you're gonna get values for well, you're gonna do all this, fill this out, and then you should be able to complete number 1, and then the other 2 are your opinion. Okay, so hopefully that helps you complete this assignment. It's pretty involved, but I have faith in you all. I think you could do it. Have a nice afternoon.